Hello, welcome to my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to be doing a tutorial video. And today I want to talk about the anatomy of a great eBay listing. This is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, and it's going to have a lot of information in it. So go ahead and pause the video, go get yourself a pen and a piece of paper or your phone to take notes on, and come back because you'll want to take notes for sure. We're going to talk about creating the best listing you can based on a lot of factors. Most resellers think success comes from finding better inventory. And of course, if you find better brands, better inventory, you're going to sell things probably more quickly and at a higher price. But quite honestly, a very mediocre item with a fantastic listing will outperform a great item with a terrible listing. So for instance, you guys know I sell Walmart brands and I make great listings out of them. If you had a St. John and your title and your photos and everything was absolutely terrible, my Walmart listings that are optimal are going to outperform your luxury brand. A good listing will always outperform a good item. So you want to have both. But if you do volume or any type of bread and butter, having the best listings is even more important. But it is important for everyone. So if you're not a bread and butter seller or a volume seller, still stay tuned and listen to what I have to say, because I'm going to break down every single part of a listing and why each one matters. First is the photos. You want to have a clean background, good lighting. You want to take multiple angles of the item and have plenty of pictures of the tags and any call outs or discrepancies if there's a mark or pulled thread, but you want to get as much detail as you can. So the best way to think about your photos is, I always say, take photos like there's no title and description, and then write your description as if there's no photos. You want to get measurements, texture, zoom capability, but photos will always answer the questions before the buyers ask, because buyers are more likely to look at your photos than to read the description. Next is the title. So there is a formula that eBay likes everyone to follow. It's brand, item, size, color, material, style, and then keywords. So instead of a woman's dress, you want Talbot's women's black linen shift dress, size 14, petite, sleeveless. But even more, you could take out the word women's and put in more keywords at the end if you had more keywords to add. Putting men's, women's in the title is important, but keywords that describe the item I feel like are more important, and you only get 80 characters. That title is valuable real estate. You only get 80 characters. So if you need to take out women's or men's to fit in more keywords that describe the item, that's fine. And then you can put the size more towards the front if you want. This, what I just read to you, is like the optimal eBay title as far as what they suggest. But when buyers are on the app, they get a shortened version of the title, and they may only see Talbot's women's black linen. So if you want to optimize the title for folks on mobile who see a shorter intro, you might want to put Talbot's dress, size 14, and then black linen shift dress. Don't use unnecessary symbols or words. Buyers do not know, nor do they care what NWT, NWOT, MSRP. Don't put any of that shit in your title. No one cares. It's not important. You want good, solid description and keywords. Don't keyword stuff. Don't use stuff that has nothing to do with it. but use keywords that do have something to do with it. If it's a cottagecore dress, you can put cottagecore romantic. Use AI. I always highly recommend that. It is a tool that is at our fingertips now, and you can ask it for keywords as you're learning. Once you learn aesthetics and keywords, they'll come off the top of your head. But when you're learning a new category or new types of items, go ahead and use the AI. It's there. It's a good tool to use. Don't keyword stuff. Use keywords that are appropriate, but put in as many as you will fit. Item specifics. Okay, so this is one of the biggest mistakes sellers make on eBay. You absolutely need to fill out, at the very least, brand, size, color, material, pattern, sleeve length, style, department, and type. And if you're doing plush or another category, you're going to have kind of the similar things without like material or pattern. But there's a minimal amount you want to fill out, and you want to fill out as much as you can. It gives you a better chance to be found when buyers are searching for items. The more information you have in your listing, in your item specifics, the more likely you are to come up in searches. And speaking of AI, if you have a really good title written, eBay's internal AI picks up a lot of those item specifics for you. When you're creating a listing, there's that box at the top, and you can just go down and check everything that applies to you. And then as you scroll down, there'll be suggestions for other ones. So fill them all in. The AI is doing the work for you. You might as well. The category. So this is another place where a lot of new sellers and even veteran sellers sometimes can make a mistake. When you choose the wrong category, it hurts your visibility. So if you put, say, a skirt in the dress category on accident or whatever, and someone's searching for skirts, your skirt's not going to show up. So you want to always make sure you have the correct category. Typically what eBay's AI, as you're creating the listing, whatever it suggests is correct. Sometimes it can be wrong. So you always need to double check that and make sure that you have the exact right category for the item you are listing. That's, I think, number one in being found in the searches when buyers are searching. You got to be in the right category. You got to have your dress and dresses. You got to have your plush and stuffed animals. And if it's a Disney plush, you want it in that Disney category. That is the first step to being found, and then it's your title and your item description. Item specifics, I meant to say. Now we're going to talk about the description. Okay. Let's be honest, most buyers don't read the description. How do I know that? Because every day I field dozens of questions from buyers asking me questions that are answered in the description. They're asking for details or measurements that are there, and they're just not reading it. They don't read it. But some buyers do. And the buyers that actually go through and read the whole description are going to be your best buyers. So always include measurements, condition, any flaws or call outs, smoke-free, pet-free if applicable. If you have fast shipping, 2-day shipping, put that in there. 1-day shipping. Keep it easy for them to read. Keep it succinct. Pricing. So when you are comping, you absolutely must look at the sold comps. Anybody can list any item at any price and be as wild as they want, and that doesn't mean that is what that item sells for. You have to look at the solds to see what it is actually realistically selling for. But I also teach people to look at the actives as well. So if I want to sell my eBay tumbler, I'm going to go to the solds and say everybody's got it sold for $15 and $20. And then everybody's got it listed for $30 and $40. Well, maybe the value of it went down. Or if everybody's got it listed for $10, maybe the value went up. And then if it's listed at $10, it went down. So my point is, absolutely look at solds, see what items are realistically selling for, but look at the dates. How long ago did that last one sell? If it was a month ago and all of the active listings are $5 or $10 more, that may be an item that you can sell for more because you're competing with what's active, but you also need to know what it realistically sells for. It's like a fine balance that you have to learn. You also want to keep in line with competition. You guys know my soapbox about racing to the bottom. Please don't be a turd. Do not be an asshole and undercut everyone else. Yes, I called you an asshole if you undercut everyone else. Because yay, you win. You get to sell yours first, but you have just ruined the market on a brand. And it happens all the time because everybody comes in and goes lower, lower, lower until that item is not worth much anymore. I've seen it happen with so many brands. Side note, if you must sell your item quickly for whatever reason, if you feel the need to be the first one, whatever reason, list your item at the market value and run a sale. If you have a brand of jeans that sells for $40 and you want to sell yours for $20, don't be an asshole and list them for $20. List them for $40 and put them at 50% off so that you're not ruining that market value. End of side note, off the soapbox. Be aware of your competition. Within a couple of dollars up or down of your competition is fine. If you look at comps and you're the only one with an item, you get to set the price. Don't forget to check the sell-through rate. And if you don't know how to check the sell-through rate, please let me know down below. And that will be an upcoming tutorial on this channel. I will teach you how. And think about how long you're willing to wait. Now, some resellers will also teach the idea that you think about what you paid for the item. I don't teach that because I don't care what you paid for the item. This goes hand in hand with my philosophy on racing to the bottom. Whether you paid 50 cents or $5 for an item, if everyone is selling it at $50, it's worth $50. It doesn't matter that you only paid 50 cents. Just because you paid less than everybody else doesn't make that item less valuable, doesn't make it worth less, doesn't mean you should price it less. It means you paid less, you get more profit. That's all that means. So I never mention that when teaching about pricing. Just look at the comps, both sold and active. Think about your competition, maybe go, and you can always run sales. If you think you want to go a lot lower than your competition, again, run sales. Look at the sell-through rate and think about how long you're willing to wait. If people have an item listed anywhere from 15 to 25, listing it at 15 is fine if you want it to go fast. But if everyone has it at 25, list it at 25 and run a sale. In your listing, you need to cover how you're going to handle shipping. Now, you want a realistic handling time. I'm going to teach you something that not a lot of people know about. If you choose same-day shipping on eBay, number one, you get a boost in the searches. If you have same-day shipping, you will get preferential treatment in the searches, meaning you will come up ahead of others when buyers are searching. But what a lot of people don't know is you get to choose your cutoff time. We do same-day shipping, but that doesn't mean if something sells right now at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm recording this that I have to pack it up and ship it. We chose our cutoff time at 7 a.m. Eastern time because we get up around 7:15 and start packing shipping for the day. Anything that sells after 7 a.m. can ship the next day. So technically it's next day shipping, but on my listing, it says same day shipping. So I get that little boost in the searches. The buyer sees that I do same day shipping, and it really, really helps with sales. But I don't actually have to keep shipping all day long every day, every time something sells. You pick your cutoff time. If you do your shipping at noon, make it 11:30. Anything that sells after 11:30 that day ships the next day. A lot of people don't know that. They're like, you're crazy, you're doing same day. And not really. If it sells after 7 in the morning, I'm shipping it the next day and it's still considered same day because you choose that cutoff time. So I did want to put that in there because having same day shipping has really increased our sales and helped us a lot. And I have shared this with other reseller friends and groups I'm in, and I've gotten good feedback from them as well that their sales went up. But be realistic to yourself too. If you have to drive a half an hour to a storage unit, you may want to do next day or every other day. If this is not your full-time job, be realistic within yourself. Be as fast as you can, but make it realistic so that you can uphold it, because the last thing you want on your account is shipping defects. Nobody wants those. Make sure you have your shipping policies set through your business policies. Again, this is something I can teach you if you don't know how. So let me sidestep just one more time over here. If you ever hear me mention something in any of my videos and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, ask me in the comments. Say, hey, I don't know how to do that. Can you show me? I'm more than willing always to do any teaching or tutorial or screen share videos. It's like my favorite thing to do. In fact, I started this whole channel to help other resellers become successful and to help them grow and to teach them. It's my favorite thing to do. So please don't ever hesitate. Hey, you said something. I don't know what that is. I'll come out with a video to help you. I also take requests. So if there's something that's on your mind, something you want to learn, let me know. Okay, sidestepping back to the main topic. You want to set up combined shipping and make sure this is so important. This is so important. Make sure your weight and your dimensions and your accuracy is in the listing before you list it. Don't ever list an item unless you have its weight and how you're going to ship it in your head. I do clothing, so all I have to have is the weight, because I know I'm shipping in a 9x12 poly bag, or those brown ones for these brown ones that you get. I know I'm going to ship it in here, or a 9x12 poly bag. I know my jewelry is going in an 8x6. Know what you're shipping in, know your dimensions, know your weight, always. But setting up shipping is such an integral part of your listing that a lot of people overlook, because they're thinking about, my photos got to be good, my title's got to be good, my description's got to be good, I got to fill all these item specifics. Shipping is just as important. You want that weight in there before you list, and you want shipping policies or do the calculated shipping, but you want to make sure that when the item sells, that was correct, so that you're not overpaying or overbuying. You want to have a return policy. Now, I know a lot of resellers don't like to have returns. I don't like returns, but I have free returns. I didn't see an increase in returns when I changed that a few years ago, but I did see an increase in sales because it builds confidence. But here's the thing. If you sell very rare, unique, antique hard goods, you might want to put no returns on your listings. I mean, there are rare instances, but that's not who I'm talking to. If you sell remote controls, video games, plush, clothing, general run-of-the-mill items, I would have a return policy. I would have free returns. But here's the thing. If you think that you have no returns, you are absolutely wrong. If a buyer wants to return an item bad enough, unfortunately, they will be dishonest about it. And they can open an item that is described, and then you have a ding on your account, and nobody wants that. So give them a way to return it honestly, so you're not getting dinged. And back before there were free returns, I always had returns on, but I remember getting a few item not as described cases opened, and where the buyer could put the reason they actually typed doesn't fit. They were trying to get around paying for the return. They opened an INAD so that they could get a label for free for an item that wasn't as described, even though they admitted it was because it didn't fit. Most buyers are good people. Most buyers are going to be return customers, or we'll get one, they'll buy one thing from us and we'll never see them again. Most buyers are great. Some buyers can be very deceptive and sneaky. And if you have no returns turned on, they are going to find a way to return it. Unfortunately, there are dishonest people in this world. So it's good to have the policy turned on to avoid that. And then with free returns, you're really avoiding it, because there's no reason for them to open an INAD when they can just say, hey, I don't like it, I changed my mind, it doesn't fit, and send it back to you. But it does also build buyer confidence. If I'm buying something from a buyer that offers returns, I know they stand behind their product. I know they're willing to take it back if it's not, what I wanted. So I think every seller should choose a policy, choose the one that fits your business model, have them pay for the returns or have free returns, whichever one fits your business model. Remember, on this channel, we always talk about my business isn't your business and what works for me that may not work for you. If you're high volume, free returns are probably the way to go. If you're very small and this is your hobby, just turn the returns on. But I would suggest having a return policy, period. Whatever works for you. And then consistency is important. Whichever way you choose to go, use it across the board. Promoted listings. Now, this could be a whole video in and of itself, but want to touch on it briefly here because it is an important part of listing and having listings that will sell. Promoted listings do not make sense if you have very unique one-off items, if you're not in overly competitive categories, if your items are not competing. I already said that. So if you have unique items and you're not in a competitive area, you sell a big antique dresser, you don't need promoteds on. If you're selling American Eagle jeans and plus size clothing and shoes and plush, you are in very competitive categories and you need to have promoted listings on. I think they make sense for anyone that has items that are oversaturated or highly competitive, not for people who have very unique items. I do 2% across the board. Some people like to go higher. You have to figure out what's right for you. If you were to ask my advice and what I suggest, I wouldn't go higher than 2%. In fact, I only do promoted listings because I'm in such highly competitive categories. And if I don't promote my listings, I don't stand a chance. I have to promote them to stay even of everybody else. And I do the lowest that I can. And that's what I would suggest everybody do. But again, my business is not your business. You need to figure out what works for you. And maybe in the future, I'll do a whole video that is promoted listing centric. And that's what we'll talk about in that video alone. You want to have best offers on. Again, there's rare exceptions. Most of the advice I'm giving today in this video about listing is not about the once in a lifetime finds, the really rare items, the very unique items. I'm talking about everyday resellers like you and me that source the same kind of items over and over again and list them. Best offer, super important. Just turning best offers on gives you a boost in the algorithm. Yep. Just turning best offers on gives you a boost in the searches. Period. Don't decline offers. Don't ever decline an offer. Leave it open and ignore it. If you don't want to take an offer, number one, you should always counter. Always counter. If you don't want to counter, don't decline. Leave it open. Every time you counter an offer, it gives a hit in the back end of the algorithm that your item is desirable and it has offers going back and forth and it'll get a boost. If you have an open offer on an item and a buyer sees that, they may be more inclined to buy. It's like the pressure of, oh, somebody else is going to get that before me. When you decline, you are not doing yourself any favors. Countering, boost. Decline, nothing. At least just leave it open so other people see that there's offers on it and it's desirable. But I would never even do that. I would always counter. Listen, you can counter, I think 4 or 5 times, and you can just keep countering the same number if you want. Every counter and every counter from them is a boost in the searches. So why wouldn't you do that? It takes a second. You can also auto send and auto accept, and that's good too. But I would always have the best offers on. So now we're going to get into something that's not actually part of the listing, but once that listing sells, you want to complete the transaction. You want to ship it to your buyer. You don't want to have to cancel. So make sure that you have a really good inventory organization system. Custom SKUs, storage location, bins, shelves, whatever you need to get organized so that when an item sells, you can go, hey, that item's located here. I can pull it and I can ship it. A great listing does not help you if you cannot find the item. And that is why I'm mentioning your inventory organization. Let me repeat that louder for those of you in back. A great listing does not help you if you cannot find the item. We can talk about how to create great listings all day long. If your shit's in disarray, you're never going to find it. It doesn't help you. All right. So whether you use a tool like List Perfectly to cross-post, listing on your phone, listing on your computer, however you list, the very last thing you want to do on your listing before you hit submit is to check your photos look good and they're in the right order. You know, you want the front one, and then I always like to put tags and things at the end. I kind of load my photos the same way I do my title. Most important first, moving right. But before you hit that submit, double check those photos. Double check your title. Make sure you're in the correct category. Make sure all your item specifics are filled out. Review your description. Check for typos. Make sure everything's in there. Check your price. Make sure your shipping is set and your weight is in there. And make sure in the SKU line that you have your inventory location added. And then you can hit submit. One single amazing listing will not transform your business overnight, but creating hundreds of high quality listings absolutely can. So think of every listing as another employee working for you 24/7. The more complete, accurate, and buyer-friendly your listings are, the more opportunities you create for sales. So if you have a bunch of non-quality listings, they're not doing you any favors. Starting to edit them and revise them and moving forward, making your new listings even better, will eventually transform your business. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen with one listing. It's going to take time, but it will happen. I have pulled up 2 of my oldest listings, and I'm going to go in and edit them with you guys so you can see me make a listing better. Kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. So I pulled them up in List Perfectly, of course, because I always start everything over here in List Perfectly. But this is an older piece of jewelry that I created in the beginning of 2024. So I'm going to go back through it. It's been 2 years. I was new to jewelry in the beginning of 2024. In the last 2 years, I've learned a lot. I've learned new keywords. I've discovered better ways of listing jewelry. So I don't want elegant up front. That's an adjective descriptor. I don't want that up front. So this piece is vintage. So let's add vintage. And I want necklace kind of right up front. Remember when I talked about loading your listing so that the people on mobile can see it? So I want vintage necklace, and then we can put in the details. It's layered. I want, layered black clear beaded multi-strand statement jewelry. That's all good. I think maybe I want the colors and the beaded before these details. Okay. And back when I first started using AI, it was very wordy. It's not as wordy anymore. So I'll take some of that out. I make sure I add the weight nowadays. And by the way, if you need to make one of these little dots that I just made, like that, you press Alt and 0149 on your keyboard at the same time. It'll make that little bullet. Just a little tip. And I have learned and come a long way in my pricing, but this is still something I would put at 20 plus shipping. So there you go. I redid the title based on everything I've learned in the last 2 years on jewelry and what I've learned about the mobile app, wanting that word necklace up to the left so they can see it. So that one's good. Let's check these shorts. These are kind of older as well. So I don't think I need Urban Outfitters in here. I think I'm going to put it under the brand there and just put BDG here. So these are girlfriend. I want to put shorts up closer, but these have a tag that says girlfriend high rise. And I always try to put exactly what the tag says. So we'll leave that. This is black denim. They're cutoffs. They're booty shorts. And that's good. And I apparently did not run this one through the AI, so let's do that real quick. I always pick concise because, again, I don't like it wordy. I like it succinct. Let's run it through the listing assistant really quick. And I did get a notice from my internet earlier today that they're having problems in my area. That's usually a little bit faster on my internet and my computer. If you use List Perfectly or you're thinking about it, how fast the AI will run through, it really depends on the computer you're using and the internet you're on. If I put this X here, it'll keep the title that I had. I liked it. And I did copy to paste back in there. So let's double check. High-rise distressed denim shorts feature a frayed hem and a relaxed girlfriend fit. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to put like new. I don't need any condition notes. There's nothing to call out. And I'm going to keep the price the same. Now, if I wanted to update the 2 listings that I just played around with using List Perfectly, I would just have to go to the front of the catalog. Yeah, my internet is definitely experiencing problems in my area today. Okay, there we go. Then I would just select them here, and then I could update on all the platforms using List Perfectly, which I'm going to do after this video, but you don't need to watch that. I just wanted you to see me change the titles around. Had the pictures needed cropped in closer, backgrounds removed, I would have done that as well. Just kind of double check the listing. I do delist, relist 20 items a day. And if you haven't seen how I do that, I'm going to put the video up here. You can watch that. I put that out while I was on vacation. It's definitely interesting to watch that. And that way, each morning, I can take 20 of my oldest listings and do what you just saw me do. Rework the title, rework the prices, anything that needs changed, and put them back in. That way, I'm always optimizing my eBay listings and all my platforms, really, so that I have the best listing that I can have, so that I have the absolute best anatomy of an eBay listing, which is what this video was to show you, how to have a good listing. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. If you would like me to talk more in depth about creating the best anatomy of a listing for other platforms, let me know. They're all very similar, so I might be able to cover the 6 other platforms I list on in one video if you're interested. eBay is a little more difficult and a little more choosy and picky about the things it wants versus the other apps. The only thing I can think of is like Depop doesn't have titles. So like the first 6 words in your description are super important. But I can create a video about that if you'd like. Or if you think this is good enough. I mean, if you know how to create a good listing on eBay, I'm pretty sure you can figure out how to create a good listing on any platform. If you can list on eBay, you can list anywhere. Again, eBay is like the most difficult with the most picky things and the item specifics and all of that. So if you can create a really good eBay listing, I think you're set for other platforms. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe and help me feed a hungry hippo. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.